Hello, everyone. Some of you may know me as Manaswi, some may know me as Madichetty, but most importantly, I'm Sumana's sister. Thank you so much for having me on your stage today to listen to me professionally yap about my everlasting thoughts surrounding food. This may not be a very unique experience, I'm not sure, but growing up, I decided I would never learn how to cook because I did not want to cook for my husband. What's he gonna do, right? If I didn't know how to cook, what's he gonna do about it? But fast forward to grade 9, I asked my mom to bake me a cake, and she said, if you want to eat a cake, you're going to make it yourself. So I remember looking up microwave recipes for the first time, and I baked my first ever batch of chocolate cupcakes. This beginner baking journey continued well into my university years. Nothing about it was healthy, of course, but I would enjoy a lot of my time experimenting with different desserts, different cooking techniques, all kinds of viral things, feeding my friends and hosting little gatherings. Cut to COVID, we're all stuck at home, and I've decided I want to share all of my kitchen shenanigans on Instagram, and I've launched Madichetty. Now, this is where all of my problems began. For the views, for the counts, for the likes, I would be baking the most indulgent, viral, sugary desserts, and to no one's surprise, I would be eating most of it. Was I working out? No. Is there still a dent in my bed from where I sat during the COVID semesters? Absolutely. This, coupled with my PCOS, led to me gaining over 30 kilos over the period of that year. And at one point, I was 100 kilograms. Now, the weight gain was horrible, but what came with it was even worse. The imbalances in my monthly cycle, my skin, my gut health, I was really at the bottom of the barrel. But I was able to ignore most of it, and people around me were able to ignore most of it as well because my grades still stayed up. I was working multiple jobs, the scholarships were coming in, the awards were still coming in, everything was great. On the surface level, I was still perfect. But on the inside, I was really rotting. The real impact of what I'd done to myself hit when I joined the workforce formally around September of 2022. Everyone was so pretty, everyone was so skinny, they were so gorgeous, their hair was shiny, skin was clear. And as vain as this sounds, it was really that simple. I took my first salary and I joined Fitness First. And over the past maybe year and a half, I've lost close to 20 kilos. A lot of us would associate that weight loss or the health benefits to the personal training, but honestly, what they say is true. 80% of your health or your wellness is in food, and 20% is exercise. I would even go as far as saying that 95% of it is food and 5% is exercise. Now, my first round of subtraction started very simple. It was just the typical stuff, you cut off the unhealthy stuff. You stop eating chips a little bit. You cut out carbs a little bit more, sleep a bit more. But at the same time, I was adding more protein into my diet. And as a vegetarian, that was a very foreign concept, honestly. And adding more whole foods into my diet. Now, the second round of subtraction is where things got really intense. It really escalated. I did a food intolerance test. A food intolerance test is designed to tell you what your gut might be insensitive to, what's causing some inflammation or imbalances in your body. And the idea is to cut these foods out for a long period of time, around 6 months, and then reintroduce these foods to test the impact on your gut. Now try telling a vegetarian that she had to cut off gluten, dairy, yeast, potato, peas, and corn. There was nothing left for me to eat at this point, right? And as miserable as I was during those 6 months, it was one of the best decisions I'd made for myself because it completely changed my outlook towards food. It made me more creative, it made me more mindful towards the choices that I made, and it allowed me to experiment with different cooking techniques and focus a bit more on creating balanced meals with more spice and flavor rather than focusing on the ingredients that I had eliminated. Now, I don't necessarily endorse this test, don't get me wrong. I truly believe in ignorance is bliss unless your problems are raging red flags like mine were. Now, the last and final round of subtraction that I did was in 2024. Before that, I did reintroduce pretty much everything back into my diet, but in Jan of 24, I decided that I wanted to cut dairy out of my life. And I entered the world's most hated group of people, the vegan community. So this was an interesting one for me. But that was the last and final round of subtraction I've done so far. I'm not going to stand here and endorse or advocate veganism to you. I think there's more than enough information out there, and ultimately it is a conscious choice that we make, either to improve your health or to improve your carbon footprint. But what I will say to you is that you need to be mindful enough and brave enough to eliminate parts of your life that are not really serving you positively. Dairy was giving me pimples, so I cut it off completely. Sugar gives me energy crashes, and the past 30 days I've been off refined sugar and I've never felt better. Rice for lunch made me super sleepy at work, so I moved the rice to different parts of my day. All in all, what you want to do is make food work for you rather than let it ruin your health. Great. But all of this now comes with the fear of lack of taste. We're so conditioned to believe that healthy is boring, healthy is bland, healthy is disgusting. But what we fail to realize is that most of the flavor does not come from your protein or carb source of choice. It rather comes from the way you cook it or your seasonings. Let's talk about the Desi Holy Trinity for a second, right? Your ginger, garlic, onion. Hit these three into a hot pan with nothing else, you're practically salivating. Everyone in the room is wondering what you're cooking, correct? And now think about it this way. Did it change for me drastically when I moved from paneer to tofu along with my Holy Trinity? It really did not. But did it take me a really long time to realize that I had to press, drain, and then freeze the tofu in order for it to be the perfect texture to absorb the most flavor from my curry? Absolutely, it did take me a really long time to realize that. And that's what cooking is. Cooking is manipulating something to make it taste the way that you want it to taste. Now, I could tell you a lot of these stories, but the most important fact is it boils down to flavor, right? Because I've fed so many of my meat eater friends a lot of vegan food over the past couple of years, and they've never left a table dissatisfied because it really does boil down to flavor. Now, a lot of what I've learned about food and the interest that I harbor in food has come from the fact that I had to feed myself on very limited options. And there's a lot of things I've learned along the way, right? Did you know that mushrooms cook best in their own moisture? No oil, no salt. You hit mushrooms to a hot pan directly, and they release so much moisture within them that they caramelize best at that state. And the only reason I learned this is because I realized I wanted to cut oil out of my diet for a certain period of time. So there's a lot of different tips and tricks that I can share with you along the way, and we could go on forever, but the bottom line is, you just need to realize that healthy cooking can be made very fun if you realize that food is a science and something that you can play around with. Now, a lot of you here are heading off to university in the next year or so, maybe two. My sister's out there in Leeds right now, and most of our phone calls are about the food that she's made with her friends. The other day, she said she made paneer butter masala, then she said she made pulao, and the other day she said she made smashed avocado and pea toast on protein bagels from Warbutons. Trust me, she does go a lot of days on just cornflakes and milk in true dorm style, but because she picked up a knack for flavor and cooking at a really young age, a lot of her core memories with her friends are in the kitchen. Imagine twirling around the kitchen with a group of your friends, gossiping, music playing, and the veggies are simmering away, and at the end of it, you get a warm, comforting meal out of it. Doesn't that sound lovely? And that's what cooking should be about. Food is love, food is warmth, food is community. And there is no better power that you can hold at your fingertips than making something with your own hands. Bribe someone for your homework with a homemade cookie. If you're having a bad day, make a bowl of tomato soup and grilled cheese, or reminisce older memories by recreating your favorite childhood snacks. And that brings me a bit closer to the end of this gap. We need to remember that cooking is a life skill. You need to have the ability to choose what you want to eat, to live the way you want to, and also be very happy while you're at it. One of life's greatest joys is food, so why not harness the power to make anything you want, anything you crave at your fingertips? Now, I'm not going to stand here and tell you that I'm the epitome of health or I'm a chef. There's still a really, really, really long way for me to go. But what I hope you get from this is that food is fuel. And maybe, hopefully, potentially, one day you might find your life partner through food, because the way to someone's heart is through their stomach. I've not found mine yet, but that's a whole other TED Talk. And as we come closer to the end of this speech, I just want to share a little QR code with you that will take you to my Instagram and also my recipe dump with a lot of different vegetarian and vegan recipes. And what I hope you get out of this is a little guide to start your cooking journey. There's things ranging from cakes all the way to just avocado toast, so you really can pick and choose what you want. And if you ever want to know anything more about me, about food, or for that matter, more about Sumana, you can always reach out to me. And bringing a snack is absolutely necessary, and I really hope you have a wonderful day ahead, and thank you for your time.